Introduction. Undoubtedly, Rolls-Royce cars are one of the best limousine cars in the world. Mr. Royce always considered the best criteria and standards for making his cars. Wells-Royce was founded in 1906 by Henry Royce and Charles Stewart as a manufacturer of wind engines. In 1971, the automobile division of this company under the name of Rolls-Royce Motor was separated from the mother factory, which had lost a lot in the production of the advanced jet engine 211 RB and took on an independent identity. From this date until 1987, the ownership of Rolls-Royce was under the control of the government, until in the same year it was handed over to the private sector as a Rolls-Royce joint stock company, born in England. He was the last child of a miller who immigrated to London when his mill failed. At the age of 9, he lost his father and worked in various jobs such as selling newspapers, padawee, and telegraph operator. When he started his apprenticeship at the Great Northern Railway, one of his aunts paid his living expenses, but financial problems forced him to terminate his apprenticeship contract and take a job in a tool manufacturing company. In his spare time, he used to study electrical engineering courses, and this study and tendency towards technical issues led him to establish his electrical engineering company in Manchester in 1884 with the cooperation of his other partner, Ernest Claremont. They started making dynamos and electric cranes in 1894. According to the reports of the best, after a period of stagnation and with the arrival of competitors from Germany and America, they decided to change their production towards car engines. Royce's first car was a rough and noisy two-cylinder four-wheeler that Henry had made significant changes to the French model in 1903, although it was not a commercial success. But this was the beginning of acquaintance with Rolls. How Rolls-Royce came to be. Charles Stewart Rolls, third son of Lord Lingatop, had achieved considerable success and income by selling his horseless carriages to London's gentry and aristocracy. After the carriage, he was engaged in manufacturing and selling all kinds of cars. He made many mistakes at the beginning of his career, but later he corrected these mistakes. Charles Rolls was very interested in repairing car engines since childhood. In 1902, he started his work in the field of cars by exporting and importing French cars. Charles built his first car at the age of 18 before entering Cambridge University. After Henry Royce produced his exceptional car, Rolls arranged a meeting with him in Manchester, and finally, after many negotiations, they signed a contract that boosted Royce cars with Rolls capital and money. In those years, Royce produced 5 different types of cars: a car with a power of 10 horsepower, a car with a power of 15-20-15 with the same engine and chassis, and a 6-cylinder car with a power of 30 horsepower, and a car with the same power and 4 cylinders. The above cars were shown at the Paris exhibition in December 1904. These two started their cooperation in the field of automobile production in 1906. At the same time, Rolls and Royce agreed to build and sell their cars under the name Rolls-Royce from now on. This partnership was actually strengthened with the name Rolls-Royce. Royce was in charge of segregation, and Rolls was in charge of banking and commercial affairs, and provided the necessary capital to build the 4-cylinder car. Their third partner in this deal was Claude Jansen, which was called the Rolls-Royce Link Line. But he was the first secretary of the Royal Automobile Club and a racing driver and a very skilled engineer who was impressed by the genius of Rolls-Royce and came to this company. The first car that was sold with this name was the Silver Ghost model with a 6-cylinder inline engine, which was produced in 1906 and was selected as the best car of the year in less than a year. The logo of the Rolls-Royce factory consisted of a black background in which 2 English letters R were written on top of each other and represented the beginning of the names Rolls and Royce. Golden Angel. On the front window of all the Rolls-Royces that were built from 1911 onwards, there was a statue of a golden angel named Emily, and according to many, this angel was a symbol of the girl that Royce had a crush on, but never succeeded in marrying. He didn't. Some believed that this angel is a symbol of peace and is called the Spirit of Ecstasy. This assembly was made of 24-karat gold and by traditional casting method, which caused the dissimilarity of the sculptures on these cars. But the cooperation of the two lasted only 6 years, and on July 12, 1910, Rolls-Royce was killed at the age of 32 in a Rainhouse flying show. Rolls was also the first Briton to die in a plane crash. After his death, Henry Royce took over the management of the factory alone. During World War I, Royce produced aircraft engines for the British Army. After the end of the war, he restarted the production of engine and car chassis. He was knighted in 1930 for his excellent services in the field of airplane and car engine manufacturing. Rolls-Royce is one of the most advanced factories in the field of aircraft engine manufacturing, to the extent that Concorde aircraft engine is made by this factory. Royce also bought Bentley Motors. He died at the age of 70 while he was drawing new designs to increase the speed of his cars. Henry Royce worked a lot and was famous, and because of this, he never reached his family. That's why his wife left him. He never had enough food, and because of that, he had a weak body. Royce, who was completely disabled at the end of his life. In the end, a lot of work finally passed away on April 22nd, 1933. Now the factory founded by this suffering man makes expensive cars for the rich. At the end of his life, Royce, who was completely disabled, finally passed away on April 22nd, 1933. After the death of Royce, out of respect for his great position in this factory, the logo of all Rolls-Royce models, which was covered with red enamel until that year, was changed to black. Rolls-Royce today. The company was privatized in 1987, and then in 1990, during the BMW merger, they produced several jet engines. In 1998, the owners of Rolls-Royce Motors decided to sell this company. BMW, which in the past supplied the engine and some other parts for Rolls-Royce and Bentley, was the most serious buyer of Rolls-Royce. But this amount offered by Volkswagen was higher. Therefore, according to an agreement, it was decided that from 1998 to 2002, BMW will continue to supply the engine and equipment of Rolls-Royce cars and be allowed to use their name. This agreement was stopped on January 1st, 2003, and only BMW had the right to use the Rolls-Royce name, and Volkswagen had to change the Rolls-Royce/Bentley car name to Bentley. Rolls-Royce is one of the best limousine cars in the world, and this company has always considered the best criteria and standards for making its cars. Now this company, with more than 39,000 employees worldwide, earns an annual income of over $10 billion.